Most people think building a touchscreen UI like this requires expensive hardware, months of experience, and hundreds of lines of graphics code. This is a $17 ESP32 S3 board, and every single screen you just saw was designed visually without writing a single line of graphics code. This is LVGL and SquareLine Studio. And by the end of this video, you will build this exact project yourself. If you watched part 1, you have already seen what this board is capable of. But raw hardware capability and a professional touchscreen application are two very different things. Today we are going to bridge that gap. But before we start, there is something you need to know. If you have ever tried getting LVGL running on a display like this and ended up with a black screen, wrong colors, or a project that uploads perfectly but does absolutely nothing, the problem is usually not your code, it's the setup. One wrong setting, that's all it takes to waste an entire afternoon. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact setup I use from start to finish. And speaking of setup mistakes, there is one thing almost every tutorial skips. After every SquareLine Studio export, there is a single value hidden inside the generated UI files. One value. If you don't change it, the colors on this display will be completely wrong. The code will compile, project will upload, but the interface won't look the way it should. I will show you exactly where it is and how to fix it. There is another issue I ran into while uploading this project. When I first ran the analog sensor example, the value on the screen was jumping constantly even when I wasn't touching the sensor at all. At first it looked like a hardware problem. It wasn't. I will show you the simple 3-step fix I used to make the readings stable and reliable. And finally, I'm going to share the exact project template I use for every LVGL project on this channel. Once it's set up, you won't need to rebuild the entire project structure every time you start something new. Set it up once, reuse it forever. So whether you are completely new to LVGL or you have tried it before and hit a wall, this video covers everything. The correct setup, the hidden color fix, the sensor stability fix, the reusable template, and a complete 4-screen touch application built from start to finish. So without any further delay, let's get started. Alright, let's build this from the ground up correctly. Before anything runs on this display, we need to set up the software environment, and this is where most people run into problems. The first library you need is LVGL. Open the library manager, search for LVGL and install it. Now pay close attention to the version number. I'm using LVGL version 8.3.11. This is the same version I have used across all of my LVGL and SquareLine Studio projects, and it's the version I'll be using throughout this tutorial. Using a different version can lead to compatibility issues, compilation errors, or unexpected behavior. So for the best experience, I recommend using 8.3.11. I've also linked my other LVGL and SquareLine Studio tutorials in the description if you would like to explore these topics in more detail. Once LVGL is installed, there is one more important file we need, lv_conf.h. This file contains the configuration settings that LVGL uses throughout the project. Without it, your project won't compile correctly. You can download the lv_conf.h file from my Patreon page along with the complete source code, project files, and all resources used in this video. Once you have downloaded it, place it inside your Arduino libraries folder. With that done, you are ready for the next step. Now, this is the template I mentioned at the start of the video, the one that eliminates an hour of setup from every future LVGL project you build. Let me open it and show you exactly what's inside. The structure is straightforward. Inside the main Arduino project folder, I have created 2 additional folders. The first folder stores the SquareLine Studio project files. The second folder stores the UI files that SquareLine Studio generates. Then you copy those generated files and paste them along the arduino.ini file. When you open the Arduino file, all the files are automatically loaded. Now, MakerFabs does include their own LVGL examples, but they use a different approach. The method I'm using is more flexible because it works with almost any LVGL project, not just this specific board. In fact, every LVGL and SquareLine Studio project I have built on this channel uses this exact structure. Once you understand it, it becomes second nature. Now, here's the part that matters most. Almost 95% of the code in this template stays exactly the same across every project you will ever build with it. You configure it once and you never start from scratch again. The project is already configured and ready to upload. But there is one critical step you must do after every single SquareLine Studio export. This is the hidden configuration fix I mentioned in the intro. Here it is. Open the UI.c file. Find this line. It will be set to 1, change it to 0. That's the fix. And let me tell you, when LV color 16 swap is set to 1, the red and blue color channels get swapped in memory. The display driver on this round TFT processes color data in a specific byte order, and when that setting is wrong, the colors come out completely incorrect. Reds look off, whites look strange, your entire interface looks broken, even though your code and your design are perfectly fine. Now let me show you how to upload your first program. First, go to Tools, Board, ESP32 and select ESP32 S3 dev module. Next, go to Tools, Board and select the correct communication port. Then enable USB CDC on boot. After that, go to Tools, Flash Size and select 16 MB. Next, go to Tools, Partition Scheme and select 16M Flash, the 3 MB version. And finally, go to Tools, PSRAM and select OPI PSRAM. Once these settings are configured, simply click the Upload button. The code has been successfully uploaded. Now let me show you what you have to do on the SquareLine Studio side. Let's go ahead and import this project into SquareLine Studio. I'm currently using SquareLine Studio version 1.5.0. To import the project, click on the Import Project button. Browse to the project location. Select the project file and then click Open. As you can see, the project has now been successfully imported. On the right side, you will find the project settings where you can configure all the important options. The display resolution is set to 240 by 240, which matches the display we are using. The rotation is set to 0 degrees and there is no offset applied. So both X and Y offsets are set to 0. The shape is selected a circle. For color depth, I'm using 16-bit swap, which works perfectly with this display and LVGL. The LVGL version is set to 8.3.11 and the theme is dark, which gives a clean and modern look while designing the UI. I've also kept multi-language disabled for this project since it's not required right now. These settings are very important, so make sure they match your display and LVGL version before moving forward. Go to the File menu and then open Project Settings. First, make sure the project properties are exactly the same as shown on the screen. Also confirm that the board properties are set correctly and match these settings. Next, under File Export, set the project export route to the folder where you want to save your SquareLine project files. After that, set the UI files export path as well. For the LVGL include path, simply type lvgl.h. Now scroll down and make sure Flat Export all files into one folder is checked. Finally, go ahead and click the Apply Changes button to save everything. For this first example, I have kept the interface intentionally simple. 2 screens. Screen 1 shows Electronic Clinic, Screen 2 shows MakerFabs. Here is why I start this simple. Before you build anything complex in SquareLine Studio, you need to confirm that every layer of the system is working correctly. The display driver, the touch controller, LVGL itself, the template, the board settings. If you jump straight into a complex interface and something doesn't work, you won't know which layer broke it. Debugging that wastes hours. Start simple, confirm everything works, then build on top of a proven foundation. Let's generate the UI files. Go to the Export menu and click Export UI Files. Select those generated files, copy them, and paste them into the UI folder inside your Arduino project. Open UI.c and change LV color 16 swap from 1 to 0. Upload using the same board settings as before. Both screens are active. Touch is responding. Swapping between screens works perfectly. LVGL is running correctly on this board. This is the foundation, and it took almost no time because the template was already configured. Now let's build something that actually does something. Keep watching because the next part is where the real engineering starts. Earlier I told you something caught me completely off guard while building this project. That's a potentiometer connected to the board. I'm not touching it. Nothing is moving. The value is jumping constantly. This is raw ADC output from the ESP32S3, and on almost any microcontroller, raw analog readings behave exactly like this. Electrical noise, power supply variations, ADC inaccuracies, even interference from nearby components, all of it causes instability in the signal. For a quick demo sitting on a disk, you might think this doesn't matter, but think about what you actually want to build with a display like this. A control panel that someone else uses, a monitoring dashboard for a machine, a system that controls a motor, triggers an alarm, or makes a decision based on sensor input. Unstable readings doesn't just look bad on screen, they feed wrong data into your system. They trigger alarms that shouldn't trigger. They make motors behave erratically. They make your project fail in the real world. This is an engineering problem, and I'm going to show you how to solve it properly. The fix uses 3 layers: 2 in software, 1 in hardware. The first thing I did was take multiple ADC readings instead of relying on a single sample. In this case, I'm taking 32 readings and calculating their average. This immediately reduces the random noise and makes the measurements much more stable. After averaging the samples, I pass the result through an exponential moving average filter, also known as an EMA filter. This acts like a software low-pass filter and smooths out sudden changes in the readings while still allowing the value to respond quickly when the potentiometer is moved. And finally, I added a hysteresis threshold, sometimes called a deadband. If the ADC value changes by only a few counts, the display ignores those tiny fluctuations and keeps the previous value. The screen only updates when the change is large enough to be meaningful. Now, on the hardware side, I also added one small component, a capacitor, placed directly across the potentiometer. This is filtering at the source. The capacitor acts as a small energy reservoir. It absorbs rapid voltage spikes before they even reaches the ESP32. It reduces the noise before the software filtering even begins. Same potentiometer, same board, same conditions. The value is now smooth, stable, and completely usable in a real application. That's the difference between a project that works on a disk and a project that works in the real world. Now let's move on to the final project. Now we bring everything together. This is the final project, and this is where you will see exactly what becomes possible when you combine everything we have built. We are going to monitor a live sensor on one screen and control real hardware from another screen, both running simultaneously. The potentiometer is connected to GPIO 17. For demonstration purposes, I have connected an LED to GPIO 18. In a real application, that LED could be a relay switching mains power, a MOSFET driving a motor, a solenoid. Any load you need to switch, the code stays the same, only the load changes. In SquareLine Studio, I have added a fourth screen. On this screen, there is a button assigned to a function called BTN Fun LED. When this button is pressed, that function runs and toggles the LED. The other 3 screens remain exactly as before. Screen 1, Electronic Clinic. Screen 2, Makefabs. Screen 3, Live Sensor Value, smooth and stable. Screen 4, LED Control. On, off. Status confirmed on screen. 4 screens, live sensor input, real hardware output. Built from a template designed visually, running on a $17 board. This is the complete workflow. If you want all the source code, the lv_conf.h file, the complete project template, and the SquareLine Studio files from this video, everything is available on my Patreon. The link is in the description below. So that's all for now. Support me on Patreon for more videos. I hope you liked today's episode. Like and share this video with your friends. See you in the next episode, and thanks for watching.